So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. Oh, man, why do you make fun of Dave Meltzer? Just get over it all, man. So Dave Meltzer is out there. Last week, he goes, if you usually watch Collision via DVR, which a ton of people do, check to make sure it's working with the channel switch on TBS. Actually, if except it's like, there's Bryan, I had to manually set it yesterday. So like, okay. And then Glenn Gilberti answers, thank you, Dave, you do good work for AEW, hope you're being compensated. Me too, man. Like, good little puppy dog work there. And also, he would never do that for WWE. And also, he would argue with Bryan Alvarez, for 30 minutes about YouTube TV, but he's sitting here giving people instructions on how to find Collision on DVR. Dave Meltzer reacted to all the releases, and he, said that there was non-wrestling things and certain things that there's more than meets the eye. Transformers, Meltzer's in disguise. That played a factor into Riley Osborne's release, and we know Riley Osborne's response. He was like, I was training to come back to Evolve after my wife was released, and I knew I was coming back to Evolve. You're full of And Dave says, actually, his situation, it was, actually where it was one of those where it had to do with non-wrestling things, Bryan. There was just, not political. That's not the right word, but, actually, except there were just certain things that happened with him, Bryan. And it kind of led to them taking him off television. But, talent-wise, he's there. He's good. He's someone that AEW should at least take a look at. And now this is where Meltzer's trying to, affect the wrestling world and get people jobs or not. And then this guy pipes back at Meltzer and is like, you're lying, shut up. And it's like, good one, Meltzer, stooge. You wanted him to get a job in AEW. Now he's looking at you like you're an asshole.
Dummy, yeah.
He just hurts more than he helps. Right? But talent-wise, he's there. He's good. He's someone that AEW should take a look at, take a chance at. Do it, Tony. Just take a chance on mine. And the great main line. Take a chance on me. He never really got to show it there. I was always impressed with him. And when I was asking people there, it was like, oh, yeah, he's really good. He was not cut over talent. So he wants Tony to sign this guy. Stop blowing up his spot. Yeah, Tony should take a chance on this guy who has all this going on backstage that I can't quite put a word on, but there's more than meets the eye. He's a Decepticon. You're saying this, but then you're like, oh, take a chance on this guy who's going to cause you problems backstage, but you should hire him. Like, what an idiot. I don't know why Dave is so stupid. He never helps. He just makes things way worse.
Stupid idiot.
So moving along here. Dave Meltzer talked about Alberto Del Rio, and he said these signings are for the Mexican market. It's not like Alberto is going to show up on Raw or SmackDown. Vikingo may, or at least on NXT, I would expect. That's the basis. This is not an extension of their AAA contracts. This is new. These are new deals, and more people are expected to sign new deals, Bryan. It makes sense, as WWE is. I don't want to use the word paranoid. It's the wrong word. But WWE is. Why does he always same with the last thing? It's not political. That's not the right word, but it's like, I don't really know what it is. Well, then why'd you say political? And now idiots are going to go, it's political. What the fuck? Oh, they're paranoid. Well, it's not really well, I'm not paralyzed, but I seem to be struck by you. I don't know why paralyzed jumped into my head there, but it's like, dude, what the fuck if it's not paranoid, then what is it? They're weird. They're aware of people of talent they might want to sign. Yeah, they're a fucking wrestling company. Jesus Christ. So it makes sense. I don't want to use the word paranoid, but WWE is very guarded to make sure they don't fall into the situation that AEW fell in when they put Stephanie Vaquer on Forbidden Door while WWE had the opportunity to then snag her. They won't put themselves in that position, Dave. They bought AAA. What are you talking about? Hey, they want to sign you from AAA. No. Okay. We own that. No. They don't want to expose someone, particularly on the Los Angeles show, Worlds Collide. I think that anyone who's on the Los Angeles show, they want a WWE contract with them to make sure that AEW doesn't sign them. No, Davis fantasy, Mark booking. And of course, they don't want this, but this isn't a thing. You're not on the Worlds Collide show unless you're signed. They bought AAA. So some of the names that we saw, oh, they have contracts for all these fucking goobers like Dave Meltzer. No, they're contracts that say here, this is a one and done contract for this fucking Worlds Collide show or whatever WWE shit we use you on. Here's this new other contract until we absorb your AAA shit. And then we own you anyways. For all we know, it's just something like that. Like, oh yeah, Worlds Collide, you all have to sign these things because we don't technically own your Triple H deal or AAA deals yet, and we want to book you and put this AAA show on this summer. You know, it's really that simple, man. It's probably just something like that, if there even is anything. I don't know. We're hearing such conflicting stuff. The Stooge dirt sheets are saying one thing, and then people who I put way more faith in are saying a completely other thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I really trust Dave here. Wavy Davy with any Alberto talk. And someone tagged me in this. Midnight Madness 720 says Mushmouth Dave admitted his scheme on the latest Dark Side of the Ring.
The idea was if you tell crazy stories, there will be an appetite for more, even though it's all bullshit.
I gotta use that in the next video, man, in the next song or whatever. So, Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer newsletter says WWE will closely monitor AEW Grand Slam Mexico with the intention of signing any available talent. You guys, they were gonna buy CMLL and rip that shit away. Okay. That's something seriously that was being considered. Now they're saying they're gonna keep an eye on it. They already had a fucking eye on it, bro. And yeah, they might keep an eye on it, but Dave is trying to make it like, well, WWE, this all has to do with AEW. Has nothing to do with WWE just globally expanding and living out Triple H's vision that he always talked about with NXT. We'll have NXT Europe, Japan, man. He always talked about this shit. And no, Triple A's not going to turn into NXT. There might be an NXT Mexico where you see people doing shows with the WWE banner, but they're still just going to be Triple A. You have all that history and everything. You're not just going to fuck that up. The crossover brand thing appeal is there along with TNA. That's why they're integrating that too. And yes, they have their eyes on the wrestling world, but this is like saying, oh, MLW is going to have their eye on the CMLL guys. It's like, yeah, all wrestling companies should have their eye on this fucking show if you're trying to be the best wrestling company, right? Dave's trying to make it out like it's this war over Mexico, which I do kind of like that a little bit. Hey, let's spice it up. Let's get it cooking. Like CMLL versus AAA, Noah versus Nuge, or whatever, maybe New Japan bails out of that and we see a different, whatever. Marigold versus Stardom, WWE versus AEW. Let's see more of it. NXT versus Ring of Honor. Let's see if AEW can hang. They ain't been hanging so far, but I'm here for it, Eric. I'm here for let's start a war. I want to see a third fucking company step up and be like, let's do this goddamn thing. Yeah, I just don't. Dave is trying to make it out like they're like, oh my god, this Grand Slam, man. They don't care. They're just focused on AAA right now. They don't want any of the CMLL guys, and any of the guys that they eyed up there, they have a list of already, Dave. They're not watching this show intently. They were about to acquire a whole federation from Mexico, one way or the other. Whether Tony was partnered with them at the time or whatever the fuck. Alberto got hot. They went there. They went with that. They have good ties with Conan, Alberto, all that shit. So they go with AAA. AAA has a vast pool of young talent as well. So I think they made the right choice. And because some of the CMLL guys have been tarnished a bit from the AEW stuff. Like Mystico's a big superstar. Well, fucking he's on Collision. He's on Rampage, bro. No one cares. And so Vaquer, meanwhile, has been presented in this big way. So Dave is just, having a field day, just jerking his chicken to this one. You know what I mean? But yeah, WWE's goal is to recruit impressive CMLL talent appearing on the show to support their newly acquired AAA promotion. Dave's talking like they don't have talent in AAA and they don't already have a bunch of Latino talent. And that, you guys know what I'm saying? They don't have moves that they can make in a big talent pool of Evolve NIL talent You know, not that they can't. Like Serena Linton, she's like, I can speak Spanish. Maybe you get her some, put her in a mask, send her to Mexico for a bit to get some training in and stuff like that. They have North American titles as well that can float over, and you can get their stars against Mexican stars and stuff. And I just think it's crazy. Well, no, like, yeah, they'll recruit CMLL guys, but that's just part of the game. But it's not like Dave's sitting there. He wants to make it out like CMLL is the bigger proper. Like they bought this AAA, whatever. But the same guy Dave was saying, El Hijo del Vikingo dream match with Kenny Omega. Why isn't he like, oh, they got the dreamy dream star Vikingo who will have dream matches with Roman? Why is it a dream match with Omega, but not a dream match with fucking Seth Rollins or whatever? They don't keep the same energy. And that's what I'm trying to point out here. And Dave is fantasy like, oh, they're just going to swoop in for CMLL guy. No, don't make it about them. They could have had that if they wanted. They chose not to. So we have a couple clips here. So Dave Meltzer, speaking of people that were released, Dave Meltzer talks about another person. So he's lobbying, trying to get Riley Osborne a job. Now he's lobbying, trying to get Dakota Kai a fucking job. And I'm like, Dave, stop. I want her to get hired there too. But like,
shut up, bitch.
You keep blowing up people's spots and being fucking stupid. So let's take a listen and hear what Dave has to say about AEW signing Dakota Kai. Now, I think she should go there too, honestly. I think that's the type of wrestler Tony Khan likes. I see her fitting in there, honestly. At the same token, Dave Meltzer, stop advocating like you're the uncool guy. Now that you're like, well, Dakota Kai's cool, right, kids? The key demo is going to keep going down.
Dakota Kai is gone.
Yeah, I think that when I first saw that name, you know, my first thought is, okay, this is the one that AEW should try to take. I know the last time.
Why should they try and take her?
That she got cut. I believe that she was talking to AEW, and I know she was talking to Stardom. And then she got called back and didn't go. But she had, you know, I don't know how the details of how deep the conversations were with AEW, but I could think that it's one of those things where, you know, we were ready to use her and then she ran right back and then she ran right.
We were ready to use her. Then she ran right back. Like, listen to how he talks about AEW. Well, we were ready to use her. It was like, you know, they were like, we were ready to use her and she ran on back like a little scraggly dog to the hand that feeds Bryan. She ran on back, ran away. And it's like, bro, this is why you can't have Dave Meltzer advocate for you. It's like, you're burying her before she even goes to AEW. You fucking idiot.
Kind of person that we want to invest, that she's just waiting to run right back type of thing. And
she's the kind of person we want to invest to, but she's just waiting to run right back. What a fucking prick.
I don't know. Obviously, I think TNA would take her in a heartbeat. She's good. She could help. There was some surprises with her name. Again, with most of the people who were cut, I didn't really sense that there was a surprise. It was just kind of sadness that they were cutting a lot of people. And
I didn't really sense there was a surprise, just kind of sadness. Where? When you were backstage?
Shut up, bitch!
He always says shit like this. I didn't sense there was sadness. Where? When I'm talking about the IWC, I say the IWC sentiments, I don't think it reflects the real world. What do you can separate the things. Dave, where was there sadness and or whatever the fuck you're talking about? Like, where did this take place? In the AEW locker room? In WWE's locker room? Or are you just making this up?
The people that were cut were people that weren't really being used. And Dakota hadn't been used in a couple of weeks, but, you know, she went to the finals with that tournament with Lyra Valkyria, you know, for the North American or Intercontinental title, actually. And
actually, it was that one. Yeah.
I think that, she's good. I think
what an endorsement.
She could be, I think that she could be beneficial to anyone, across the board. There's not a lot of money in Stardom. I think she would do really well there. I don't know what
she's not going to Stardom, Dave Meltzer. Jesus Christ. Maybe she have a match there or something, but like, come on, man.
Budget would be as far as, using her. They want women who will go there at a relatively inexpensive price and go there for a long period of time, like a month. And she might very well do that. But I would think TNA would find a spot for her. I would think that of all the names that were released, I think that she is the one that would be.
Well, why don't you aren't you the fucking Wrestling Observer newsletter? Why don't you call TNA and say, would you guys be interested in signing her? And get a fucking quote. Like, what are you doing? How can we trust when you just keep going, I think.
A best percentage bet for AEW. But
so he thinks it's a best percentage bet that she'll go to AEW. Dakota, don't listen to any of this man's career advice.
I think that she is the one that would be the best percentage bet for AEW. But I don't know if what happened before will, make that one difficult or not, but she's good. And I think that as far as there was some talk of her being injury prone,
I hate how he does this thing. There was some talk of injury. You mean that what everyone says about her? You mean what everyone says online? So then Dave spins it like, well, inside WWE, there is talk of injury proneness too. Yeah, everyone knows she's been hurt badly. And I just dissect everything he says, and I know he's just adding context to everything, but that's why we're here, right? We're laughing at the fucking guy.
WWE. But, when these things happen, you're always going to have a label.
The way he presents it,
And she did have a knee injury just recently. She's had some injuries, but everyone gets hurt in wrestling. And I haven't heard any sense. I mean, put it this way. The last time I saw her wrestle, she didn't look slow. She looked good. So
the last time you saw her wrestle was like when, bro? Like in the Lyra Valkyria tournament? Misremembered, thought it was for the North American title?
Whatever. I would actually recommend hiring her. I have not heard anything that would make me think that she would have that.
I would recommend hiring her like you've employed her before, Dave.
At WWE attitude in AEW. You never know. And like I say, when it comes
to WWE attitude in AEW, listen to this.
I haven't heard any sense. I mean, put it this way. The last time I saw her wrestle, she didn't look slow. She looked good. So whatever. I would actually recommend hiring her. I have not heard anything that would make me think that she would have that WWE attitude in AEW. You never know. And like I say, when it comes to hiring people from WWE, AEW really should be cautious because so many of them have done more damage.
Then why did you just suggest? So he's just saying, so everyone who's come over from WWE, he's saying you've all done way more damage. Why don't the sickos jump all over Dave? He's saying that Lashley and all these guys are doing way more damage to WWE or AEW coming over. And Dave is suggesting Tony Khan bring in 2 more WWE people, but he's saying you need to be careful. Bring in, here's my 2 suggestions. Now I just blew up the spot because Tony's going to be like, on it, boss. I mean, because he still fucking thinks he's a correspondent for Observer. And this is craziness, man.
Then good, but some of them have obviously been
and she's 37. Like, I'm not trying to knock it, but he's like, yeah, bring her in. He just said, well, Stardom can't bring her in because she'll want big money. I think he should sign her, but she's 37 and wants big money. And he's like, Tony should be careful who he signs. It's like, well, which is it, asshole? You give terrible advice. The best
guy's Tony Khan.
The worst part is that we know Tony listens to this buffoon.
Very beneficial. So she's one I would go for.
Yeah, that's fair enough. He's just giving his opinion, though, on who he'd go for, I guess. And leave it to Bryan and Dave Meltzer to low-key throw shade on a great main event on Raw and have to bring up Michael Cole for something to shit on. And that's what these two guys do. Bryan will try and dissect a lot of shit, but that's what these guys do. They low-key throw shade, or it's more high-key. It's the same thing they just did there with Dakota Kai. Well, she wants more money. And they also did it to Riley Osborne. Oh, there might be political. Well, not that, just some weird shit backstage with him, but they should hire him. It's like, what kind of shit is that, man? You're just burying them while trying to put them over at the same time. It just makes no goddamn sense. Here's a bit of a longer clip in our finale here, and here's Bryan and Dave going back and forth about Raw and just finding something to boo-boo. Of course, they love Excalibur. These two fucking clowns love Excalibur, right? But Michael Cole is cringe to them.
And then we had Jey Uso and Seth Rollins for the world title. And I thought this match by the end was excellent. I mean, it was just kind of a Raw match early, but the last few minutes ended up getting quite great.
They had a lot of heat for the near falls at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth's great, you know. I mean, he's great, and
God damn.
but I mean, it was still like, you know, lots of interference and lots of distractions, and you know, I mean, it was.
Imagine if this was his review of AEW. He would never review a match like this.
You know, but it worked.
It worked. Did it, Dave? The arbiter of, this worked. It always works. Why are you holding the mic like that?
Well, Braun grabs his foot, and so out comes Sami Zayn. And he comes down to the ring, and Seth ends up distracted. He eats a super kick, a spear, and the splash. Super kick, spear, and splash, and he kicks out of it. And the fans chant, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, you know what's was bad. This was bad. Is
oh my God, this was really bad. Not Excalibur going in on Collision and check out on Rampage, and here's the whole show, and here's every match. Colliders collide. He'll never say shit about Sockface. He's got this to say right here. He's got this to say right here about Michael Cole, bro.
This was bad. Is Michael Cole on a couple of near falls that looked like the finish, just does the whole thing where he basically tells you it's not the finish.
He does it all the time.
I mean, it was.
That's why I avoided the part in the promo from Pat McAfee where he said that Michael Cole was the GOAT.
He did say that, but it's like, it's you know, it's not Michael Cole. This is how they teach in WWE. Every announcer does it, but Michael Cole is.
Okay, who's better than Michael Cole? Name him. Go. Chuckle fuck and chuckle doo doo. Okay, who's better right now? Well, Ian Riccaboni. Okay, he's just an indie Michael Cole. He's like a not as good Vic Joseph who like throws his own jokes in there and shit. When we're talking sports based, all right. So I get it. Like, who's better? Well, Nigel. Well, Nigel's healing. So who's better at Michael Cole's role? My argument is maybe Vic Joseph. And that's his protege right there. So who's better legit? Let's honestly come up with it, and let's be honest with ourselves. Who the Taz? Like, who the fuck's better than him in that role right there?
Because he's indoctrinated in the system.
Well, yeah, he's indoctrinated into the system. It's really the Matrix. I mean, red pill, blue pill. I mean, yes, he was trained a certain way. He's a legitimate fucking journalist and broadcaster, and this is a guy who helped teach other generations like Josh Matthews, who's hired in fucking TNA forever and is now hired in AEW to hopefully help the people you have doing commentary in AEW, Dave, do their jobs better too. Josh Matthews, who is mini Michael Cole to a fucking T. And now you have Vic Joseph. And now that Vince's handcuffs are off and you don't watch WWE, you watch the fucking YouTube clips. Well, two Joshi wrestlers are apartment wrestling in your basement. I don't know.
There's a lot of things he does that I don't think he can help himself anymore. But goddamn, it's like
he can help himself. That's not that hard that's not a hard habit to break. But I mean, it's like
Dave is the except you actually talking about hard habits to break while talking. Actually except Tony Khan. Oh, that's not a hard habit to break. He should do better.
Nobody tells him to not do it because it's the way. This is what Vince McMahon teaches, and Vince McMahon knows all and all that. And Vince kind of did the same thing when
Vince isn't there. These guys are fucking existing there 5 years ago.
He was an announcer. Well, he did.
He did the stupid 1-2. That's it, and then it wasn't.
Yeah,
but like I understand, like doing it every now and then is fine. But like,
and he did the stupid 1-2. That's it, and then it wasn't. That's not stupid. That's not stupid. Have you seen a hockey game? And oh my, McDavid with the goal, no, off the crossbar. oh my goodness, it looked like it hit the back of the net, but like, what are you talking? These guys are fucking stupid, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. You can't just watch wrestling, dude. You got to watch other shit sometimes.
When you do it every single time, it's like you always know. It's like when the guy looks at the referees, he's counting. It's like you always know.
Yeah, I agree with that one. With pins, you got to feel it.
It kills the drama of the finish when the announcer tells you it's over, and it's not over.
It's not.
And then a guy looks at the
What do you mean? When have they ever had this discussion? Though, not to make it what about AEW, but this is what we're talking about. Of all the things to pick apart in that match, that's such like a minor thing. To where the same shit in AEW, they would say, he'd be like 5-star. I mean, well, when the one young buck went on the shoulders of Kevin Knight, and then Mike Bailey went on the shoulders, and then they chicken fought, and then a backflip to the outside Doomsday Destroyer landed on his feet. None of the same energy. And this is where people got to call the shit out. I have to. And I'm not saying like that main event was a banger. Yes, can we dissect like Michael Cole going, that's it? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that sells it to me a bit. Like he thought that was going to be it. I don't know. I'd have to register that. Dave says I rate matches based off the emotion of the crowd and shit. Meanwhile, the crowd was so hot. They were panning to the crowd and people were hands on their heads, covering their eyes, their mouths, freaking out. The crowd was going insane at some of those false finishes and shit. And usually Dave would like this type of shit, but it's WWE, so they have to go Michael Cole. Like Excalibur hasn't had the shittiest, least memorable. Really think about it. What's a memorable Excalibur call? The most memorable AEW call is Tony Khan going, "It's Sting," Tony Schiavone going, "It's Sting," which is something he did in WCW. That's the most memorable AEW call. So, like, honestly, think of one. What's like an amazing call? Like, we can all remember Joey Styles being like, "Oh my God," or Jim Ross being like, "By God, he's dead. He's broken in half." Like, there's a million of them we can remember. Michael Cole has so many of them to the point like vintage Undertaker became like his coined expression, just naturally. So I can't think of one Excalibur one that made me go like, oh my God, what a legendary call. There's been some in the UFC as well. And I remember even Taz when like the ring exploded and he's like, holy shit. You remember that like it was yesterday. I don't remember one Excalibur one. And I've given 8 million examples and said that a million times because I really want to beat people over the head with that. So where is the commentary? This is what I mean. Like you're just going and picking apart commentary. Well, are we going to really play that game, dude? Because that's way crazy. Just put over the main event, Dave. You know what I mean? The false finishes had you. Michael Cole's call ruined it for me. Why? Because he said that's it when it wasn't it. Well, it's not it when Seth hits the Falcon Arrow and shit. You know what I mean? It's not it, bro. Come on. The crowd, you always talk about the crowd and I'm the observer. Well, did you observe the crowd? Right? That should be 5 stars by the way Dave explains it. I'm objective and I just look at how the crowd moves. That's what he's been saying. He's quadrupled down on this. We've covered it ad nauseum. Okay, then that match was like a fucking 5, right? Like just by your a 4 by your metric. So don't fuck around and start talking about Michael Cole now. Sorry, I have to go. I have to defend my guy Cole. Okay?
Referee, he's going to kick out.
Yeah, he killed the near falls. The difference, I was thinking about this because Vince was the first one to do it, but the reason he wasn't as bad was because in those days, 90% of your TV matches were squashed, so he didn't do it in those matches. He only did it in some matches, like the pay-per-view matches. And also, the audience wasn't nearly as sophisticated then as it is now, so they didn't pick up on those patterns. I mean, Vince did it, and it's like, I knew it, but most people didn't.
I knew it. Oh, listen to this fucking... I knew it, but the rest of these dumb restarts over here, they didn't know at that time, Brian. I mean, I knew it, but back then, none of these smarks in the crowd knew it, Brian.
Now, everyone knows when you say for the win, it means he's kicking out. And
now the audience knows for the win, it means he's kicking out. You mean the company that has the most casuals watching it in the wrestling space right now? You mean that audience thinks that when he says, oh, he's about to win it? Dave, man.
He killed some of the near falls by doing that. I mean,
killed them.
Especially the one where it really could have been the win.
The near falls aren't killed when people get Doomsday dropped on their heads outside, then middle rope pile drivered, then Ospreay hits his finish, and then it's a fucking kick out. and then the guy does a flip, and then it's a clothesline kick out, and then he flips out of it, hits a power bomb, bruv powers up, hits his finisher, hits his second finisher, 1, 2, like it doesn't kill it that way, and you give that 6 stars, but this killed it because Michael Cole went, oh, I think that's it. Oh my God, that wasn't it. And the crowd was like, holy shit, which you just said. You just said the crowd was chanting holy shit. So you mean that way, Dave? Holy shit, man. We're going to chant holy shit at this dude.
Well, what I didn't really, I thought this match was like excellent, but the one complaint
it was an excellent match. Yeah.
The one complaint I had is when Jey hit like his moves. I mean, super kick, spear, splash off the top, Seth kicks out. And then at the end, you know, they have all the schmaz and, you know, bronze hair killing dudes and spearing this guy and that guy. And Seth ends up hitting the stomp, and like he's got the win. He's going to win the title.
Oh, I know. And he doesn't cover him when the music hits.
And CM Punk comes out, and the place goes wild. And they end up going. They didn't even call for the bell, by the way. CM Punk just hits the ring with a chair, and like it's over. There's no bell.
And I get, yes, you don't go for the cover when the music hits, but here's the thing. That's why the music hit. And it's the same thing at Survivor Series. Seth hears Punk's music. He fucking snaps, typically. Like, he goes off, man. He starts snarling. Now, I will say this. They fucked that up a bit in the build to Mania where Seth was just standing there, and I kept highlighting that. But they didn't fuck it up because Seth knew he had Heyman in his back pocket. So looking back, right, hindsight, it was just a plot point. Like, I wasn't even roasting it, but I was like, I don't like how Seth was just kind of standing there, but it was just a plot point to that story. Like he's got it in the bag at Mania. So with this one, it was unexpected. Like that was out of his plan for Punk to come out now. So he gets caught off by the music and instantly he hates Punk so goddamn much. So it's not like out of Seth's character. Yeah. Anyways,
no announcement, but my point is this.
Yeah.
Seth is the star. He's the bigger star of the two.
Yes.
And I just felt like Braun.
Seth is the bigger star of Braun and Seth, or Seth and Jey? Who's he talking about here?
Should have like done something.
Or Punk and Seth? Who's he talking about?
When Jey hit that super kick, spear, big splash. It's like Seth kicking out of it and then having the match won when somebody ran in to interfere. I just felt like it kind of made Jey look like a weak champion.
It did.
The last thing you need is for Jey to look like a weak champion.
You guys are always saying he's a weak champion. Everybody's always saying Jey is a weak champion. That's been what he's overcoming this whole time. And for him, it's always about overcoming, especially now that he has the title. For Jey, it's about he's the underdog champion still. So I get it. I'm not a big fan of like hit all your fucking finishes. And I agree with Bryan a little bit here. He's trying. But at the same token, again, that sort of fits Jey this whole time. He had to beat Gunther by choking Gunther out. And Gunther, again, to add to his story as well, he's lost only a couple times and he just taps real quick. He doesn't like adversity, you know, and it's very chicken shit heelish to just like, no, I'm out of here before I get choked out. Like he'll embarrass people by choking them out who show more heart, who won't give up. Right. And that's what they show when like, oh, you catch Gunther in a choke. I love that. That's actually a really brilliant piece of his character there. So Jey wins by overcoming and exploiting and like being smart and shit like that. Not that he uses these powerful moves, right? Because he's been using these same fucking moves since he was in a tag team. Oh, here's our tag finisher. You jump over my back and you land and it's just a splash, but I'm in the ring, you know? He's had to work through that his whole career. I get it. But it's not like the hidden blade, the double butterfly tornillo driver, and a middle rope tombstone. You know, it's not like he's hitting him with that shit. It's a super kick, a splash, and a fucking, what'd you say? An elbow, a spear? Yeah, an elbow? What were you saying?
Because he kind of is a weak champion. Like, he got it for yeeting. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I think they should have had something after that big splash.
Well, Bryan just said it. I think he's a weak champion, right? I mean, he got it for yeeting. Exactly. Yep, that's exactly. You nailed it, buddy. You guys caught on.
Like somebody pulled the ref out of the ring or put the foot on the rope behind the ref's back or something. Oh, God. Something.
Yeah.
It was just...
So they should have added another schmaz onto all the schmaz you guys were just saying was schmaz. Like, come on, man.
You fucking mark!
Come on, bro.
It was too clean.
The pull the ref out of the ring thing is pretty lame too. But the thing that was so the lamest is, like you said,
This is a guy who's like hologram versus Blake Christian in a triple threat with Ricochet. 5 stars.
Seth hasn't won. He's about to cover the guy, and then they play the music. And Punk ain't going to get there in 3 seconds. You know what I mean? No matter how.
Right. It's not about that, though. It's not about that. And it's about that Punk's hitting the ring, and maybe he missed his time cue or something, but he's going to come down. Seth's instantly distracted. He knows Punk's going to come down and fight. And the other thing is, you don't know what's going on with the refs. Like, they're throwing the match out right away. So we sort of explained it, but yes, Dave is right. He could have got the pin. That makes sense. Where was he when we're talking about Aubrey Edwards missing people's feet on the ropes? And you guys know what I'm saying? Like, there's none of this same energy when it comes to any other fucking wrestling show but WWE, when this is like a minor thing. Dave, the music hits, it serves as a distraction. Remember when Dave, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Remember when Alvarez argued to Dave, well, why did Okada's music hit? And why didn't the guys keep fighting? And Dave's like, well, it was a distraction. It's because Don Callis was so smart.
Wrestling's not fake!
Well, you know, Don Callis, it just proves how smart he was because Okada's music hit and it just served as a distraction for Buddy.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
So now here he's like, oh, the music, and he didn't pin him. But it's Okada and Buddy Matthews. And he's like, well, you know, the distraction, Okada, they played the music and he wasn't there. And then the interference came later, Brian. It's like, Dave, man, you got to keep the same energy. Like, I got you pegged down. That's why I can just whip out a perfect example 1-to-1 out of my ass like that. Freestyling. Because you can't keep up with your own bullshit.
He's about to cover the guy, and then they play the music. And Punk ain't going to get there in 3 seconds.
Okay, so then why did Buddy Matthews stop fighting when Okada's music hit? Like, you were just arguing with Brian. We covered it on the show about the same thing like months ago.
You know what I mean? No matter how hard he sprints, he could have just covered him. And if at least Jimmy kicks out or Jay kicks out, it's like at least he kicked out, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Also, one thing should be noticed. When Punk's music hit, the ref hit the deck to the outside of the ring, and he was waving people like, oh, it's what the fuck, you know what I mean? So I think he was like trying to wave everyone out, and then Punk's attacking him. It's a DQ. I just think the camera didn't catch it that well, and Dave again is just being such a Melvin right here.
But Punk, Rollins just looks like a goof because he's like paralyzed by the music and doesn't even go for the pin, when in theory this title is for the taking at this point.
Yes. But I mean, as far as like
the referee, I'm pretty sure if we can go back and get a clip, the referee hit the deck immediately when Punk's music hit too and went outside the ring, because there were still shenanigans going on, if my memory serves me correct, outside the ring. And the ref's like, well, everyone out, and then Punk hits the ring. Go back. By the time Punk hits the ring, the ref's not even in the ring. And I don't even remember hearing the bell ring, and they're just going at it. So yeah, you, Dave, need to rewatch. You need to not be typing 80 million words this year while you're watching this shit. And you need to keep the same energy with Okada. Mr. Okada.
Match, and especially like the heat.
The heat was great.
I mean, the thing with the heat is, like, it started out, it was fine. And then they started doing near falls, and it gets really good. And then it all built to that big spot where they finally hit CM Punk's music. And man, they hit that guy's music, and this place went insane.
Yeah,
for
because they
CM Punk's music.
They didn't expect that he was going to be there.
No, they went absolutely wild, and then he hit the ring and ran wild, and then they did the thing when the show went off the air to set up that other match. So they got a lot of irons in the fire, as they say.
Yep.
And I think the other reason they did the match on this show, I mean, they should have announced it in advance.
No, they shouldn't have. No, they should not have. You idiot.
But this is kind of their deal where we got a pay-per-view coming, and we got 5 matches. So we're going to do one big match.
Yeah. Like, see, they're sour. They're butthurt about it. Well, this is their deal. You know, this dumb deal they do where they have a pay-per-view. So let's surround the events around the pay-per-view with a bunch of fucking big title matches and matches you care about. Because instead of overstuffing a pay-per-view and having you all complain about the quality and how long they are and shit and who's left off them or whatever, just to fit everyone on, because yeah, why have a fucking big title match on the go-home show and make our go-home show feel important? And they're just like bummed out about it. It's this deal they do where it's called pro wrestling.
Like, there's no world title match on this show. There's just undisputed title. So we do the world title match on TV for free. They'll probably do some big match on SmackDown for free too.
No shit, Sherlock. So Brian, I know you're trying, but at the end of the day,
Brian.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.